Okay, so I could talk a little bit more freely now because currently all the tenants are out of the apartment building. Walk with me. Last time all the tenants were here, and I'm really trying to kind of come into this as like the property manager. Didn't really want them to know that I actually owned the building. If you're watching this, you got me. So as you remember, we were going to put a camera through the drain lines because they pulled a re-pipe permit, but not a re-drain permit. So I knew potentially I put a little contingency budget into my rehab holdback amount from the lenders actually covering some of these rehab, which I'm gonna go a little bit above to make this thing epic. But I put a little plumbing re-drain contingency into that budget to make sure if I needed to re-drain this place, I had the money to do it. And it turns out we are gonna have to re-drain this place. And in fact, it's already re-drained. It's about 7/8 of the way done. So the cast iron was completely original, completely rotting, and it went through the front of each unit. Out the front. Let's look at it. So the drain lines came all the way through all the flooring, all the beautiful new flooring. It came all the way through this concrete. There's a clean out right over here, and it went to this pump in the middle of the driveway. And I was like, I have to I have to gut this entire unit just to access these drain lines. And I'm like, okay, I put a little plumbing contingency, but I didn't necessarily put a whole full gut contingency of like, I want to keep the flooring, the paint, the kitchen, like I want to not have to gut everything. This is what we did. So I had my buddy Heath come over, who's master of all trades. And he's like, man, let's just re-drain this bad boy out the back of the building. And I was like, mind exploded. I was like, why didn't I think of that? I was elated, the fact that we could go out the back, but then the next problem was, how high is that septic tank? We called the guy who put the septic tank in. He's like, man, there's absolutely no way that septic tank is too high. You can't tie in your plumbing because it's not gonna have the right fall into the entrance of the septic tank. We're like, no, we're gonna need another pump. And all the stuff that was a problem before, like tampons, baby wipes, paper towels, they just flush that stuff and it just gets jammed up in that solids pump. That's not gonna work. I needed a straight shot into the septic. Pulled the permit, re-drained everything, and we went out the back of the building, and it turns out the drain line out the front of the building was lower than the drain line that we just put in out of the back of the building. And we measured our distance, got our correct fall per code, and drained everything perfectly to the 1/8 inch to the entrance of the septic tank. That was the most exciting moment probably of my whole life. But the hardest part of this project was the puzzle piece of the tenants, right? Like, we don't want them being upset. Like, if this is someone's room, we can't do this in someone's room. So it's like, everyone's in a hotel for 7 days. We're working night and day, cutting concrete all through the night, roughing the plumbing, getting the HVAC mini splits installed. The condensers are going on racks. There's gonna be 8 condensers here in this 8-plex across the whole back of the building. Your drain for your kitchens are kind of back to back. Everything's back to back. So we're going 2 at a time with the plumbing. There's clean outs on every single unit that come out the back. So there's 4 in the bottom, 4 on the top. So there's 4 clean outs coming out. And then there's 2 over here before the septic. So there's 6 clean outs that we can get in and unclog any clogs, and just make sure that thing is just gonna flow straight to the septic. It's a beautiful thing. Very excited about the plumbing, as you can tell. We're re-draining everything, and in the process of that, we're adding these mini split units right above this bathroom door, so it's gonna kind of blow towards the bedrooms and the main area. And this is the condensate line. I'm gonna build this soffit here that is below the ceiling so that I don't need a condensate pump. The beautiful thing about not having a condensate pump is it's one less thing to go wrong. It's gonna gravity feed straight to outside, and I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so we re-roofed this whole thing. I did torch down bitumen with all new fascia, all new plywood, all new underlayment, and the torch down bitumen. And I have a brand new roof that's not gonna leak. Another thing I'm struggling with is, of course, like COVID, and then I don't have COVID, but I'm saying like the storms in Texas and the things that are affecting my life as a general contractor. And like, for example, these windows are 11 or 12 weeks out, when typically it's like 6 to 8. So there's issues that we're trying to work around and project manage and put people in the places where they need to go and get these things done before these tenants have to move back in, because I'm paying hundreds of dollars each day, like thousands of dollars a week, just to have them in hotels. We completely we have to get rough plumbing done, the HVAC, build the tubs, build the bathrooms, all in like 7 days. That's why we're working day and night. And it's quite the adventure. When I first came into this laundry room, there was a wall right here. You saw that on the last video. I never showed you what was back here. Literally, I'll show you some photos. Horrible water heater that was rotting out with a old gas line running to it. Just like all these pipes going through the roof. And it's like the most awkward, horrible situation ever from like a horror film. This whole place is from a horror film. But then I had this well tank. I'm like, oh, this whole place is on a well. That's what they told me. And then I found that, like, I feel kind of stupid, but it's like, that's what they said. But then I found JEA actually supplies water to this place, and so then we wound up running an all new repipe. I'm actually working on getting a separate meter for this 8 unit. But anyways, filled in this back door with block. We filled in all these other spots with block. And then I came in, added a whole new like roof framing, and then put the new roof on when the roofer was here. I got it done in the nick of time, the day before, framed everything. Then I was like, all right, I got this meter. Let's add a new panel. So I added a new panel with an occupancy switch, not just a switch. I'm like, let's have it not be to where like this is my meter, the lights just run all the time and I get charged. Occupancy sensor. So it'll go off when people leave. And then I have the 110 lines for the washers. I have 2 coin operated wash machines. These are the boxes in the plumbing. Then I went on Amazon and bought a little electric tankless water heater. So all this plumbing with the valves is gonna run and supply hot water for the washers. Then I have this 220 lines for the dryers, and I did all the amperage. We need 30 here, 60 here, and 20 here, whatever it was. Laid it out for the electrician. I'm like, boom, make sure my panel is good. So we get the right sized amp panel. And then we have 110 lines here. I'm gonna do a little folding table. So I'm gonna have chairs over there where the well was, and a wall-mounted folding table. So, and a new door, and then ceiling lights. You can see some of those outlets, and then of course, or boxes. And then of course we had this little line running out for a floodlight. So it's gonna be like this beautiful white painted block with beadboard ceiling and epoxy gray floor. It's gonna be a beautiful little laundry room. 10 years ago, I worked at Chick-fil-A. That was a very short time of my life, and I had a lot of construction experiences. I was 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And there's just kind of this ups and downs in life, the dips, the wins, the losses. And I've gotten through those things. And, I've gotten to this point. It was just the beginning of my multifamily investing, hopefully, career. And you can too. You have to follow the steps. If you can click into your passion, magical things happen. And that's kind of what I feel like I'm experiencing in life now is I've clicked into my passion, and I feel like it's a magical experience because I've always wanted to do real estate and multifamily investing. Ever since I was early 20s, I started really having a strong desire for it. I'm like, I can buy this house, I can flip it. And I'm like 19, 20, but I didn't have the cash. So I started a construction business. I started learning to do it from other people, and I started learning the skills that it takes, the plumbing, the mechanical, the electrical, the framing, the drywall, the painting, all the things that go into learning about all these different trades. And I became a general contractor. And so as I've built these skills, and I'm still building, working the whole construction company, doing larger like 200 and 300 unit renovations for multiple people, different large like investment portfolio managers. They call J Lane Construction. So we're doing all of that, and you guys barely see any of this stuff. I don't really have the time. I just have to get the jobs done. Like I barely have time to make the videos. But and we're also doing commercial build outs right now, like a cookie shop, and we're doing like an industrial warehouse, like just tens of thousands of square feet of different projects, and a lot happening on the J Lane Construction front. So once you find your passion, don't be afraid to stop watching Netflix at night, stop hanging out with anyone but maybe your best friends, and just start saying no a little bit more to extra peripheral goals and focus on the core of who you are and what your future is, and give that everything you got, because then you're going to have so much more time for friends and building a family in the future. Maybe you have a family now. I don't at the moment, so I was able to spend more time my first 7 years developing this core that everything is going to ultimately lean on as a foundation. So thanks for watching. Leave a like. It helps the YouTube algorithm. See you in the next video.